have the interview and they ask you a question and it just starts flowing out of your mouth. Like sometimes I'm like, what am I even saying right now? Welcome back to the Big Dane podcast. I'm your host, Dana Trimborn, and this podcast is a random hodgepodge of topics that gets released on every Tuesday on, your preferred platform, of course. And I really enjoy sharing my personal stories and making those connections with you guys and just really being relatable, all in a fun and silly environment. So let me ask you, how many of you can say you have interviewed for a job? Okay. And now how many have interviewed during COVID? Yeah. Oh yeah? Me too. So if you have said yes to either of these, you do want to stick around to listen to it all. And really how I got through it and, just trying to push through it to get to my new job where I'm at today. And I will say interview fatigue does exist, and just maybe I'll share some tips with you. So here we go, friends. I will say first, in trying to find a new job while you have a job already is extremely hard. And I say that because it's finding the time to really set that time aside to start applying and finding these jobs. But it's like, wait a second, I have to update my resume. That's going to take time. And yes, it does take time. So for me, I had set reminders for myself to like, all right, like every night I'm going to apply to at least 2 places each night. And what I did too to make it, I guess, more fun, I would come downstairs and bring my computer and just put something on in the background, whether it be music or just like a show like you don't really need to pay attention to, like, I don't know, like House Hunters or like just something. Well, I do like House Hunters, but just something where it's like it doesn't matter, maybe a baking show, just to make it a little bit more fun and easy instead of like really like shutting out, you don't have anything on and you're like at your same desk as where you just like did all this other work, and you gotta like separate it a little bit. So that's what I did, and I really kept sticking to it because the more time you're gonna put in it, obviously the more you're going to get out of it as far as either hearing back or just start making those connections sooner rather than later. So that really was working for me. Yes, it was tough too, because with having the podcast, I usually do that stuff at night or, and I was like, oh my gosh, this is like so tiring. But you gotta stick it out, because in the end you're gonna have a different position. So it's as long as you just keep sticking with it, no matter how much it sucks, you just gotta push through it, because if you don't, you're gonna be at the same shitty job that you're at right now, or whatever your situation is. Maybe you don't have any job right now and you just gotta go. One thing too to keep in mind, which I don't think is always obvious for some people, if you have a LinkedIn, make sure you go to the privacy settings of your profile. There's a little, I like to call it a switch. You got to turn on the switch. There is a switch on there that you want to activate because it's going to let recruiters know that, yo, I'm looking, right? So you want to make sure you have that on for sure. Yeah. All the other stuff is like, yeah, update my LinkedIn profile. Yeah. Okay. But these are like the real stuff right here. So make sure you're doing that. I will even say too, like really think about like who you know. Who have you worked with in the past? Who have you made random conversations with? Maybe at the coffee shop, or maybe at the deli on 4th, or you know what I mean? Like literally think of every single person that you know, or that you know that you'll run into, like where you're gonna go get a hoagie or some cupcakes, right? So just really sit down, take a moment to think about who you know in your network, because you'll be surprised who comes up, who even knows someone at this other job maybe you're applying for, right? And then you could have an in. It's all about knowing people, right? Well, sometimes. So that is definitely something you just want to keep in mind. Like, yeah, it's obviously like, you want to network, but during COVID, it's like, well, how can I network? And so that's what I'm saying. Just think about people, family, friends, literally everyone in the community, it's all different avenues. Yeah. Let's see, what else do I got here for you? Thank you for bringing this up. So sure, you're in the middle of applying, you're on LinkedIn, you're on Glassdoor, you're on Simply Hired, you're on ZipRecruiter, like your list goes on. So I would also say, if you did come across a company that you're interested in, and you don't see anything like available right now, whether that was on LinkedIn, it says like no openings, or even if you go to the website, you don't really see anything either, do not stop there. Okay, this is your chance now to send your resume, your updated, beautiful resume, right, to someone at this company. So sometimes there could be like an HR contact, sometimes it's kind of like a general like email, whatever, or, go kind of, use your resources, look at the website, go back to LinkedIn, right? Go to the company, go to the people, right? Type in human resources, talent acquisition, right? And then boom, you'll have some people, and before you know it, you can maybe like put the email together if they did have an email on the website, potentially, not always. If not, go ahead and send it to that general email and literally like put your name in the subject line, along with, job openings, opportunities, but that's going to stand out. If you have something like too generic, who cares, right? No one cares. So I would definitely put your name in the subject line along with, opportunities. Yeah. And yeah, like just introduce yourself, tell them who you are, what you're looking for. And even, what I was doing too, I was putting in my experience, like, oh, I have like over 7 years experience in healthcare, pharmaceutical advertising, yada, yada, yada. And then, for your consideration, here is my resume. So they're, really simple, to the point. You want to make sure they know who you are, right? And don't forget about it. So, And don't be afraid to follow up too, because if now like a week has gone by or so, you haven't heard anything, just keep pushing, because that'll show persistency. It'll show that you're very persistent, right? So all good things. One other thing, just checking the platform here, making sure we're still rolling. I would say on top of that, and actually I didn't have written down, but now it's just coming to mind. When you are looking for places, just like literally like, don't even go on LinkedIn, literally just Google and type in whatever kind of companies you're looking for in the surrounding area, because you'd be surprised like how many are available and you may not really see it as far as like when you go on LinkedIn, because especially if it's like a specific industry or with me being in pharmaceuticals, when I did that search, like literally Google Maps, and just to see like how many pharmaceutical companies are like near Kanchi, KGOP, Plymouth Meeting, like whoa, like sure, like GSK comes to mind, and because they're like right there, and Merck back in North Wales, yeah. But all these other little ones, that's where that kind of brings another opportunity for you to tap into these, reach out, or now you have the company name, go back on LinkedIn and see what this company's all about, see maybe you do have a connection there. Who knows, right? So many different ways, but yeah, you'll just kind of open the horizon. So that is that. Another thing too, and I think it is pretty important to think about, sure, you want to be in a positive work environment. Okay, so you don't want to be messing around with some toxic energy. Been there, done that now twice. So that's a story for another day. But it's not good for health. So what I recommend is look for any articles where, they're really outlining these top companies, best places to work for. These are the companies you want to be a part of, right? So make sure, whatever industry you're in, see if there's anything online where it's really gonna outline all that for you. And sometimes, which is nice too, they'll kind of separate it depending on how like what kind of like awards it is. It'll be like small agency, mid-size agency, large agency. So different ways, if you want something smaller, great, here's what you can look for. If you want something a little bit bigger, great, here's the other area that you could tap into. I think that is just something so huge in the work field, because you want to enjoy it as much as you can. So why not look to these articles, these companies where they have won various awards, where they have been the best place to work for 3 years in a row. Who doesn't want to work for this company, right? So, and luckily for me, what happened was I was subscribed to an e-newsletter. And again, it was all like medical advertising related. So, all related to my field. So, I would first say, if you maybe have something like that, go find it, so you get these updates, so you can learn, educate yourself on this, okay? And for me, I was like, oh my God, this is like the gold list because it said, top places to work for in 2020. And I'm like, what? And it was like great timing. So this was actually beginning December. And at this point, I was probably about already to maybe just getting to 3 months in for like applying for new places. So I thought, wow, this is great. Like, why didn't article come out like in the fall. But either way, I took a look. I literally reached out to like every single company on there, except for one, because it was a place I used to work for, CMI. So I didn't want to go back, but just not because it was a bad experience, but because I already did it. So I'm looking for like, what else? What other agencies, what are they like? How do they operate? So yeah, some I heard back from, and yeah, I just reached out directly because they didn't have anything, available on their site. So I thought, you know what, let's see, like, is there anything available or is there not? And I'll say 2 people, right, got back to me, and we just had a conversation, and that's all it takes is a conversation, one conversation, because what harm can that do when you're trying to seek other opportunities, meet people, and now you have met this person, whatever they tell you, whether there is something available or not, you have this person now for the rest of your life. You just have to remember who's in my network, who can I reach out to. So I have 2 people now that I have spoken with, made a connection with, and are these people the same people at my new job now that I got? No, but who knows what can happen in 5-10 years, right? Maybe I'm gonna need these people like at a later date. So now, like, look at this, whoa. So these are the things that could happen when you just literally reach out and send an email, like 1, 2, 3, you're done. So one of the companies I saw on there was the company I work for now, and I thought, wow. And so I was kind of like planting the seed back in December, and then by the time I heard back, because I feel like it's always the case where, of course, it gets so crazy, like leading up to the holiday, there's no time, everyone is trying to get everything done for the year end, that we don't have time to interview you. So while I thought I was getting this other job, I saw a response from person that I had reached out to, but I didn't respond right away because I'm like, oh, I thought I was gonna get this other job, and then you didn't. And so then once I had gotten a feeling it wasn't gonna work out, I was like, you know what, let me just respond now before it gets like really too late in the game. So luckily, like, this company where I'm at now, it's a very large company, so there's a lot of opportunities and like different agencies within and whatnot. And so and I'll tell you a little bit more in a minute, but it was great. And then before you know it, like, I was having an interview. Yeah, that quick. Well, it didn't feel quick because my past job was like poop. That's what I'll just say for now. And so now it's like, all right, now you have the interview, now what, right? So what I like to do is literally write down all the different kinds of questions that may come up in the interview. And I actually don't, when I mean write it down, I actually mean type it. For me, it's a little bit more neater and easier to just go through instead of like me, like when I write really fast, it looks like awful, looks horrendous. It looks like, I don't even know, because then I can't read it. And I'm like, what example is this? So I like to type it, and then you have this ongoing document that you can add to, delete, this example for this job, this example for this company, So awesome. And then, yes, the first time, if you don't have something like this, it's gonna take some time, but it's worth it, because this document prepares you so much, because this is like you're just practicing with it day in and day out. And sure, the first time is going to take a while. You have a lot to go through. You have a lot of like examples to pull from all of your work experience. And so I would put down my examples. Okay, this for this question, this example for that question, and yeah, it takes a lot of time. But now, once I had already reviewed that, now, my interview is tomorrow, let's say. Now I only have to spend like 15 minutes to go through stuff, if that, because I already reviewed literally everything. So it's not going to take me as long to kind of go through, remember, because I have those examples ready to fire. So, and that's what's good about this, because you keep practicing and you practice and you practice, and then you just know it, and then you'll be surprised at yourself when you have the interview and they ask you a question and it just starts flowing out of your mouth. Like sometimes I'm like, what am I even saying right now? But I don't know, or even you start to think of other things that maybe you didn't write down, but it's like, wow, this is popping into my brain. I don't even know how, but it is, and amen, because now I'm gonna get the job. So those kind of things happen. It's just like amazing. But I think it also happens because you did that exercise of writing down a gazillion examples and all these different types of questions. And so you are ready for anything. And let's see here. What I got? Got a lot of stuff written down here. I was just so excited to do this episode. Yeah, so now with your interview, you practice, right? And I will say some of the companies ask me legit questions: strength, weakness, what do you dislike about your current job? What do you like about your current job? While others were like more conversational. So you start to catch on, and then you realize, wow, like I just need to just start really saying examples, because you don't know like how the rest of the interview is gonna go. And with it being so informal like that, you really just want to like talk and then just spit out all your examples, because they're not going to ask you those specific questions, so you don't want to lose that opportunity. So now it's like you have them ready, set, fire, and then you're good. I will say too, it's not always easy to try to figure out when to interview, like especially if you have a job as well. So it's like, well, do I take it at lunch? But then it's like you want to show you're available, so it's like you're really just trying to like get any time with the new company, and it's tricky. So I mean, luckily during this time it's a little bit easier, and I say that because you don't have to get in the car and drive a half hour somewhere to go interview, come back, and now you miss like 2 hours, an hour and a half of work, where, hey, like, yeah, I'm working and when I'm actually interviewing, but because we're at home, so you don't have to think about it as much as you used to do. So yeah, but I will say I did have to take like a sick day, because I'm like, there is no way I can get through all of these interviews, because now they start like, firing them at you, like whoa, here's this interview, then you got this interview, then you got this, you know, and it goes on, and it's like, this is a lot. This is a lot. So I was interviewing on my birthday. Yes. And that day was a blizzard, you know, beginning of February 1st. And yeah, it was, you know, I had met with 2 people, and then the next day, and so that was one team. Then the next day, they're like, oh, okay, yeah, you know, you're gonna meet with like 2 other teams. I was like, okay, you know, maybe like 1 person in each, right? No. So you met with 3 people from each team. So I met with 6 people that day. 6. Can you imagine if I was still working? Because newsflash, I had gotten let go, so then I actually had time to interview. So hey, I was able to actually focus a little bit more. And yeah, it's tiring. Like, the interview fatigue is real. So the first day, like, wasn't too bad, right? Just 2 people, 30 minutes each, not bad, right? Get a little break, you're good. Tuesday, oh boy. It's like, you know, you get ready, it's set, you know, you're speaking with the interviewer, and like, yeah, I'm just pulling up your resume. Why don't you just start by just introducing yourself and what you're doing and what you are doing in your most current role. And I'm like, sure, yeah, totally. No, I didn't say it. But you know, you just nod, and because they can see you, because it's all video interview, and it's just like, hi, my name is Dana Trimborn, and you know, you're real excited. This is the next day. It's a fresh day, and you just take off. Now you're about halfway through the day, and this is like your 3rd, 4th interview, and it's, you know, you're a little tired. So next person comes up. Oh, I didn't get a chance to look at your interview. I didn't get a chance to look at your resume, but why don't you just start talking and tell me about yourself and just kind of go through your resume. So I'm like, all right, cool, thank you so much. No, but again, and it's like, here we go. Hi, my name is Dana Trimborn, but it was really like, hi, my name is Dana Trimborn. And by the end of the day, right, because now you're your last one, at this point, it's like, I don't even know what I've been saying for the past 6 hours, because it all has sounded the same coming out. And I'm like blacking out because I literally have no idea what you've been asking me, what I've been saying back to you, because it's all just a blur. It's just a blur. So now it's your last interview, and it's just like, it comes down to, hi, my name is Dana Trimborn. Because you're so tired. And that's what it feels like. Did I really do that? No, but it felt like that because you just spoke like the entire day, and me being an introvert, that takes so much energy out, so much. It's just like my battery was like, like, whoa. But you have to just psych yourself up, hype it up, right? And if you have that time in between to just take a little break, get up, get your butt up, get up of that seat, wherever you're sitting, go down the stairs, run back up the stairs, maybe do some jumping jacks, you know, whatever you gotta do. Have a glass of water, 2 glasses of water. Maybe just step outside for like 2 minutes just to like get some fresh air. And then you don't even need to review any more notes because you have that all in your brain. You already did that hard work. This is just the easy part. So Truly, like, it is so tiring. Like, how many people can relate? How many of you? Yeah. And just like, what did I even do today? Oh, I spoke with like 600 people. No big deal. No big deal. And even, at the end of the day, and Matt would ask me, oh, like, how were your interviews? And I'm like, I would think like, wow, they went well, like they felt really good, but to try to remember what people asked me, no idea. No idea. Like, that's how crazy this is. But honestly, in a way, in hindsight, I was glad to actually have it, like all of those ones, like all in one day, because then you have the rest of the week to like relax, and then it's just kind of like you kind of wait. Of course, you send your thank you emails, all that. But now you kind of assess it like, well, who did I connect with? Who did I vibe with? And then you just wait, and then you pray that you hope that you got the job. And so for me and for the company that I'm with now, a very large company, I had more of that opportunity to really feel out these different people. And so I'm like, I want to be on this team. It's funny because it's like you feel that connection, and it feels like a dating thing where it's like, yeah, I felt like such a great connection. Our chemistry was just like, but it's true. These things, this is what's happening these days. So yeah, so I want to hear from you. Tell me about your stories. What kind of interviews have you been having? And are you almost done the process, or maybe you're just starting off? Either way, let me know. So you can go to thebigdanepodcast.com and go over to the contact section there. Yeah, send me a note. I will write you back, and I'll be able to relate on some of these stories. And to listen and subscribe, go to thebigdanepodcast.com/podcast, and you can select on your preferred platform. And now, guys, now you can watch this, because I was video recording this episode on YouTube. Ba-ba-bow, ba-bow, bow, bow. I know. So how cool is that? And shout out to my cousin. It's his birthday today. Happy birthday, Bill. And yeah. All right, my friends. Hope to hear from you. Talk to you soon. Peace out.